Alright, what's up everybody? I'm back with more E3 stuff this time. I watched the EA coverage. I checked the schedule online. I'm sorry I missed the Bethesda one. That one actually probably had more promise than anything at E3 today. Yeah, I meant what I just said. I only have 2 pages of notes here today. This is draining for me, guys. This is just draining. It's not that the press conferences are bad, it's that it's so long, and we're only halfway through. Alright, so they started off by announcing a new Mass Effect game. I didn't write down the exact title, but all I need to know is that it's a new Mass Effect. That's all I need to know right there. Thank you very much. The ending of the last game was kinda shit, but overall the game was still good. Now, my notes are telling me that there's a new Need for Speed game. I also wrote down some gameplay, please, because they like to do that. That's something we're going to be seeing a lot of in this press conference. Alright. I would also like to point out that EA had a better ad for their racing game than Microsoft did with Forza. Because it didn't start with a 5-minute ad for a Chevy car. And yes, I know it was a Ford in the Microsoft one. You get my point. Alright, and I also like to point out that for some reason there were 2 trailers for Need for Speed in the same press conference. Didn't really understand that. Why not just have 1 trailer? I also put down buffering because, to my knowledge, there is no television station that is broadcasting this, so I had to watch a live stream on YouTube of it. And yeah, my internet is not the most reliable thing in the world, so I just kind of had to deal with that. I also wrote down, hey look, actual gameplay! And I would also like to point out that, now to be honest, I haven't played any of the newer Need for Speed games. I think Rivals was the latest one. And, I don't understand why Need for Speed feels the need to push drifting so much. Because drifting, at least you guys have seen my playthrough. Well, I mean, I'm still making Let's Play Need for Speed Underground 2. And you know just how, if I can avoid drifting in any race that's not a drift race, I will do it. Drifting does more harm than help in Underground 2, and I'm sorry, I can't help but see that happening in a newer Need for Speed game. I just can't. And then I also wrote down, I take it back, this is a cutscene, because one problem with that trailer, now that I think about it, is that, okay, see, the reason why I assume something that claims to be showing gameplay isn't showing gameplay is because during video games, things do not fall that perfectly into place. And we're going to get into the biggest offender of this later on in the press conference. But when you're playing a video game, things do not fall that perfectly into place unless it's some kind of scripted event or cutscene. Okay, and now we move on to Star Wars. My Story, My Way, I remember saying that. They said that it's going to be a free-to-play game. We're trusting it. EA has tried a free-to-play model before, and they've got nothing but shit for it. Why did they think this was gonna... Let's move on. Based on what I saw from the trailer, it looks like it has promise, but we didn't see any gameplay, so I really can't say anything. And they also decide when they moved on to the next game, they said that something that's important to them is listening to customer feedback. Remember the Mass Effect 3 ending that I mentioned earlier? So many times throughout you know, like I said in the last video, I'm probably just being a cynical asshole. Maybe they are telling the truth. Maybe they're not lying to me. But with all of the shit I've seen over the past few years, how can you not think they're lying to us about shit like this? And then we went to talk about Unraveled. It is a puzzle platformer that has very decent graphics. It has a good idea, although they didn't even try being subtle about the symbolism in the game. They didn't even try, because the guy came out and flat out said, "The string represents love." The guy flat out said that. That kind of... Oh, Jesus. Whatever. I'm having a little bit of trouble reading this because I had to switch from my TV upstairs to my computer down here in order to watch the preview, and I didn't bring down the pen, so I had to switch over to a pencil, and everything's starting to fade. I also wrote down, when it comes to Unraveled, why am I getting Little Big Planet vibes? Because it looks like Little Big Planet, doesn't it? Oh yeah, and then we get back to Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. They're sticking with the Danger Zone. They're sticking with Danger Zone. Because pop culture. They're sticking with that. But that's painful. Hearing Danger Zone for something like this, it's just, the way they used it is just, it was just painful. It's just painful. Alright. And this, okay, during my last E3 video that I uploaded just a few hours ago, I was about to go off on Garden Warfare 2 because I thought the last game had just been released last year and they're already advertising the sequel. Kind of a little early for that. But then I said, no, I think it was a launch title for the Xbox One, and the Xbox One came out 2 or 3 years ago. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I said, okay, I'm not going to call it out on that. And then they flat out told me I was right. They're advertising this way too soon. They're way too... I'm angry about this for the same reason people get upset about Five Nights at Freddy's and why and how those games are coming out too fast. Because there have been 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games in the last year. Either they don't cost much to make, or they're being rushed. Do not oversaturate the market. Do not work on this so fast that you burn yourself out. Now, to be honest, they did say that the game's not going to be released this year. It's going to be released next year. I'm going to be honest with you about that, so maybe that'll sell things out, but if they're not careful, this will become Madden syndrome. Alright, I also wrote down this is a cutscene because, once again, everything in the gameplay footage fell far too perfectly into place for it to be actual gameplay. In video games, things do not fall that perfectly into place. Okay. And they also gave one of the zombie classes a giant robot to pilot because they own Titanfall, and Titanfall? Like, you guys like Titanfall, right? I don't know. I think Garden Warfare 1 has a fairly big online multiplayer fan base, but I don't know. The only time I ever heard about it was, I mean, after its initial release, the only time I ever heard about it was once when Jim Sterling talked about it on the Jimquisition. Other than that, I've never heard anything about the game. Alright. Oh yeah, and I also noticed that the mission of the zombies in the gameplay trailer was to defend the factory owned by Dr. Zombot. And immediately after they succeed, he decides he's going to blow it up. Nice. Just lovely. Then we saw a something that looked like a trailer for an NHL game. Well, it was a gameplay trailer for an NHL game, but I really didn't know what to make of it, except for this one caption that gets repeated several times throughout the rest of the conference. This caption, captured in game. They actually have to tell us. They have to put a caption at the bottom of that. Like, EA, it's not our fault. It's not our fault we don't trust anybody. It's not our fault we don't trust anybody. Captured in game is a caption that should not exist. We should know the difference. Alright. So now I have a bunch of captions that just reads, now for NHL, now golf, now FIFA, now NBA. just we're gonna skim past every single game. We're just gonna skim past every single game real fast. Just to remind you guys that we got a lot of sports games. I remember seeing in the actual footage they had up there, one of the basketball. What is with my voice? With one of the basketball players doing this taunt. And all I could think is, that was fucking scary, the face he made. That was some just fucking A! I mean, I saw myself in the video preview trying to mimic the face, and even I could not get my mouth that wide in the fucking thing. And they're all talking about how realistic the faces and shit look. Oh my god, they didn't see that. They obviously didn't see that. They didn't see that. They mentioned something about upping your swag, because, okay, I guess it... I guess there are benefits to casual wear in sports games, but... see, what is this? They are really... Oh yeah. Every single trailer at this point has the caption at the bottom of the screen that reads, captured in-game, because this is the second time I saw it. And that's just according to my notes. According to my notes, this is the second time I saw it. Alright, now we get to go to page 2. This is definitely going to be a shorter video, thank God. As they continue talking about what you can do, this is the mobile section of the conference and what they can do with mobile games. The thing that most people attending E3 do not want to hear. To most people who are watching E3, who are watching E3 coverage, we don't want to hear about mobile games. to us, mobile games are of the devil. They're not of the devil, but if you're to ask, I mean, anyone who considers himself a hardcore gamer, what do you think of mobile games? They'll tell you they're all shit. I don't think they're all shit, but most gamers will tell you that because of all the hate I've seen mobile getting. I could be making a gross overgeneralization there. I'm probably going to get a ton of comments saying, no, like, I don't think mobile games suck. And I'm just like, to be honest, I probably just offended a bunch of people with that. It's just that over the past year, I've seen nothing but hatred and contempt for mobile games from a hardcore gaming audience. And it's hard not to think that. Especially after all the crap I've heard from my friends about... okay. This is going far off topic, but I need to talk about it. Just to get it off my chest. I have some friends at a college. We play Smash 4 there when none of us really have any classes. So what we do is we go to the this rest area or a study area or something like that. We plug in the game, we play it, and eventually I get to talking to everyone about the game, and a lot of them really don't like Brawl. And I tell them that the game was made for casuals, and they don't care. They just say it sucks. And that's when it finally hit me just how much hardcore gamers do not like casuals. And I don't mean casual gamers. I mean people who casually play anything. Either you're super dedicated to it, or you're filth to so many people. Alright, now that I've got that off my chest, let's get back on topic. They started talking about a Despicable Me game. The first thing the guy said when he was introducing it was, how would you not want an army of minions from Despicable Me at your beck and call? Everyone's dreamed about it. Who here hasn't dreamed about it? And I just raised my hand and said, me. That's literally what I put in the notes too, me. I'm not nearly as funny as I think I am. I'm not near, because here I am, I'm laughing at my own jokes, and you guys are like, that's not funny. In fact, it's not funny. I'm just laughing because I need something. And then I saw actual gameplay footage for it, and this time around, I have no problem believing this is actual gameplay footage. If it's not, then what? And all I had to say when I figured out what this Despicable Me game was, oh God, it's Cityville Despicable Me Edition. Please, dear God, someone help me. They're making Cityville Despicable Me Edition. As if they're not getting enough hate. Alright. There are going to be so many people watching this who are going to think I'm just this terrible, terrible person now. Because of all of, just because of how cynical I am when it comes to stuff like this. And to be honest, I'm going off topic again, but to be honest, it's more my ADHD. All I really want to do today, to be honest, I don't really care about a lot of stuff that's going on at E3 right now. I'm doing this for you guys. Because if I want to know something about E3, I'm going to be getting nothing. My subscription box is just going to be flooded with E3 news and trailers and interviews and stuff like that for the next couple months. Alright? So I don't need to watch these press conferences in order to know what's going on at E3. I don't. I'm doing this for you guys so you know what my opinion is on it. Alright. And then we go back to FIFA. and we get Pele. We get Pele coming out. From what I understand, now I don't follow soccer. I do not follow soccer whatsoever. But from what I understand, from what they told me, Pele is one of the greatest soccer players of all time. 5 to 10 minutes was spent just interviewing this guy and not talking about the game whatsoever. What was the point of Pele being there? What was the point? Now, to be honest, we do find later on that they did have him say some things in the actual trailer itself, but what was the point of bringing him to California and having him show up at the EA press conference at E3? What was the damn point? If the interview, if he wasn't going to talk about anything related to the game in the interview, why was he there? Why? I actually have a note here that reads, "Can we talk about the game now?" Immediately after that, I even have a note that reads, "What was even the point of that?" And the point of that? We have a celebrity. We have a celebrity here. Let's see. One thing I will give the FIFA game, though, is that the phone's ringing. I can't answer that right now. One thing I will give EA with FIFA is that EA is actually taking steps to actually make the female division in FIFA accessible. Well, not to make it accessible, but to make it available for those who want to play it. And to that I had to say, good on you, EA. Good on you. Especially with the major sports, and I'm putting sports in quotations here because it's not really a sport, but for some reason the video games for it fall under the definition of the sports genre. I don't understand why. Is that the WWE games, again, professional wrestling, not a sport, but for some reason the games fall under the sports genre. They're actually taking steps back from that. In WWE 2K15, you cannot create a female wrestler. You can't. Which makes me wonder why they even put female wrestlers in the game at all if you can make your own female wrestler. So EA is taking steps forward. WWE and 2K are taking steps back. All right, and now we get to the trailer for the FIFA game, and all I can really say is, okay, soccer. I don't care about soccer. I don't watch soccer. I don't follow it whatsoever. I've never played a FIFA game ever. I've never played a soccer game ever. I don't know what to make of it, other than, okay, soccer. Alright, news store. Oh, yeah, here we go. We got to talking about the new Mirror's Edge game. Okay, Mirror's Edge is a game franchise that people like. I haven't played the first Mirror's Edge. I'm told it's a good game, though it does have its flaws. Overall, it's a good game. I have seen some gameplay of it though, and based on what I saw when they talked about Mirror's Edge and comparing it to what I saw from the first Mirror's Edge, at least from like Let's Plays and other gameplay footage like that, what are they bringing to the table? What new things are they bringing to the table with this Mirror's Edge game? Well, according to this, there's an open world. There's an open world and no loading times. That is indeed a positive. What else? What new mechanics are you bringing to the gameplay? Because the main flaw a lot of people had with the first Mirror's Edge was that they personally felt that first-person platforming did not work. And that's what Mirror's Edge is, first-person platforming. Is there anything that you're putting in the game to maybe fix that? Are there any new kind of moves you can do that you couldn't do in the first game? Are the responses better? Because I actually remember hearing someone saying that one of the problems with the game was that they'd be jumping profusely trying to get fate to grab onto a ledge, only for the game, only to eventually find out that you can't grab onto that ledge. Are all ledges grabbable? Will it make it easier to do certain moves? Never said. And then we move on to Madden NFL. Now, as a grade schooler, I actually played a lot of Madden. I really did enjoy playing Madden as a kid. I played Madden 02, Madden 04, Madden 05, and Madden 07. But after Madden 07, I just kind of stopped following the games. I just didn't care anymore. Well, it was that and the fact that they stopped making them for the GameCube. So yeah, I just kind of stopped. I do follow football to some degree. Really, the only time I'll watch football is when I'm watching it with my dad, and that's about it. If my dad's not watching football, I'm not watching football. If my dad is watching football, I'm watching football. But that's just how it works for me. But Draft Champions looks good, actually, from what I gather about fantasy football. Draft Champions actually looks pretty good. Looks kind of cool. Buffering again because internet. But when it comes to the gameplay and like, okay, when you're the quarterback, you can control how you toss the ball. You know, it can go, you can throw it high, or you can throw it low. There are new ways to catch the ball if you're a receiver, and there are now new ways you can block the ball or just defend in general when you're on. Then this goes without saying when you're on defense. But I have not played any of the more recent Madden games, so I have nothing to compare it to. I'm sorry, but I got nothing to say here. I haven't played any of the newer Madden games, so I don't know what to say. Alright. And we got the captured in-game caption again, because nobody trusts anyone, let alone EA. And then we go back to Star Wars with Star Wars Battlefront. And then we had this long, drawn-out conversation about how hard they were working on the new Star Wars Battlefront game. And we had this person talking about how much Star Wars affected their childhoods. Okay, fair enough. I had not seen a Star Wars movie until like a year or two ago. I had not seen a single Star Wars movie from beginning to end until a couple years ago. And even I was enthralled by Star Wars. Star Wars has a lot of power behind it. I can perfectly understand what she was saying. But can we see some gameplay? And even she said, the one thing people have been looking forward to this game the most, have wanted since we announced it, was they wanted to see gameplay footage. And so they finally gave it to us. Or at least they claim they finally gave it to us, because this is the worst offender of the just cutscene pretending to be gameplay that we have in this conference. Everything falls too perfectly into place. Every single thing falls too perfectly into place for this to be gameplay. Everything. Everything. Okay, this guy, towards the end of the trailer, this guy is walking towards a walker that had just fallen down. He looks over at someone who is being lifted up by the Force and then thrown somewhere. And then he turns around to see Darth Vader. That's an online multiplayer game. To those who don't play online multiplayer games, that does not happen. It doesn't. All of that, I don't care what they say, all of that was not gameplay. That was a cutscene designed to look like gameplay. Well, after that, all I really wanted was there was 5 minutes left. I wanted to know if they were going to tell us anything else about the new Mass Effect game that they talked about at the beginning, because they're jumping around to different topics here left and right. So I was kind of hoping that we'd get a little more information about the new Mass Effect game before they ended the conference, but no. And now I've run out of notes. Conference ended, and we're done. Alright, I think the Ubisoft press conference is up next. I don't remember what time. I think it comes on at 6? If it comes on at 6, I'm kind of screwed, aren't I? Hope it's not 6. I hope it's like 9 or something like that. I hope it's 9. And I hope I'm wrong about there not being 2 more press conferences today, because if it comes on in 1 minute, I'm fucked. Because I need a fucking break. I need a fucking break. My ADHD is barely holding out as it is. I need a break. Alright. See you guys.